Right now, in a dozen American cities, something strange is happening, and it has nothing to do with the score of any match. Bars are full before 9 a.m. Office chairs are sitting empty because half the building called in sick. Strangers are arguing about offside calls in line at Starbucks in a language you didn't expect to hear on a Tuesday morning in Ohio. The World Cup didn't just land in America. It's rewiring it in real time, and once you see the numbers behind it, you'll understand why. Start with the money, because it's almost too big to picture cleanly. FIFA's own projections put $17 billion on top of US GDP, with 185,000 jobs created across hotels, transit, media, and event work. Zoom out to all of North America, and that number balloons to $40.9 billion in added GDP. Individual host cities are pocketing anywhere from $160 million to $620 million each. Atlanta alone is looking at roughly $1 billion in activity from just 8 matches, one of them a semifinal. Now, it's worth saying, some economists aren't fully buying the hype. Mega events have a track record of overselling their long-term impact, and skeptics argue a chunk of this spending would have happened anyway. But even the more conservative estimates still point to one of the largest economic injections a sporting event has ever produced on US soil. Here's the part that makes 2026 genuinely different from every World Cup before it. No new stadiums, no emptied city blocks, no abandoned venues rotting 5 years later the way they did after past tournaments. America already had the NFL stadiums, the college venues, the soccer-specific grounds sitting there, ready. This wasn't a build it and hope situation. It was closer to flipping a switch on infrastructure that already existed, which means the money isn't buried in concrete, it's flowing straight into local economies. And that shows up on the ground in ways a spreadsheet can't capture. In Kansas City, storefronts that sat empty for years are suddenly filled because a tournament forced landlords, cities, and small businesses to move fast. Seattle rebuilt its entire waterfront. New plazas, walkways, food vendors, public art, not as a temporary pop-up, but as permanent city infrastructure with a hard deadline attached to it. Atlanta went even further, breaking ground on a permanent U.S. Soccer National Training Center that will keep training elite American players long after this tournament is a memory. None of these were nice-to-have projects. They happened because the World Cup gave cities a deadline they couldn't push back. And deadlines are the one thing that actually gets bureaucracy moving. But the real story isn't the concrete. It's what's happening inside people's heads. Soccer has now pulled ahead of hockey in American viewership interest. And among adults under 30, it's creeping past baseball, the sport that's supposedly America's pastime. 10 years ago, that sentence would have gotten you laughed out of a sports bar. Now it's just where the numbers are pointing. This isn't the first time a home World Cup has done this. In 1994, the last time the tournament came to US soil, it directly led to the creation of Major League Soccer, a league that didn't exist before that summer. Analysts are now watching 2026 track toward doing the same thing, except at a scale roughly 10 times larger. Families picking up MLS season tickets, kids joining youth clubs that didn't have wait lists 2 years ago, merchandise sales spiking in zip codes that had never sold a soccer jersey. The sport isn't just being watched this summer, it's being adopted permanently in real time. And then there's the part nobody puts in the economic reports. 48 national teams are living inside American neighborhoods right now, training, eating, sleeping blocks away from families who've never met anyone from those countries in person. Fans from every continent are filling bars, parks, and apartments that have never hosted this kind of global mix before. For a month, cultural festivals and pop-up concerts are turning ordinary neighborhoods into something closer to a world's fair. Nobody selling you tickets tells you about this part, that the tournament isn't just something America watches. For 30 days, it's something America temporarily becomes part of. So here's where it lands. $40.9 billion moving through the continent, 185,000 jobs, cities rebuilding infrastructure they've needed for a decade, an entire generation quietly choosing soccer over baseball. This was never really a story about a trophy. It's a story about what happens when the whole world moves in next door for a month and doesn't fully leave once it's over. If you want every angle of this tournament, not just the scores, but what it's actually doing to the country hosting it, hit subscribe. This is the story most channels aren't telling.